back up here. Made it through the first year in Seljuk. Standard struggles. A little added because some issues with the rules, whatever. But most of it is standard stuff with levy and campaign where, I'm fighting the system and working my way through. We had the Seljuks manage to meet their goals for the first year. It gets harder as time goes on, but half of this stuff remains. So I should be able, to snowball some of it, to capture places, stuff like that. Oh, that's harder to rebuild. I failed in sort of everything I kind of tried to do, which is normal for a Levian campaign, to be honest. But some of it also has to do with not being able to get the command pattern down right to express what I want to do. And that is kind of, again, it's standard for a Levian campaign for me to do this. I explained it on the last video where I start out and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then I come to a realization of what I should be doing, but I'm not able to do it because the planning is just too extensive for me, the counting and all that. And, the opponent's moves can get in your way. There's no question about that. But I don't have a plan that even if I was untouched by the enemy, which largely both sides were, I can succeed in what I intend to do. And then I reach this frustration where I start playing kind of a rage play, where I actually start just enjoying the game. And that's kind of where I am right now. And I hope I accomplish that on the next level. I'm going to worry. I doubt that battery's actually charged, but we'll see. Okay, a couple clarifications from the designer. First, the level 1 forts. Yeah, they are level 1 forts wherever they are. They don't repair the whole fortress. And again, that's probably pretty much how it's written. It's not absolutely clear, as from the last video to me. The second one is Aleppo. This one again, yeah, if you take the rules as written explicitly, I think this is what you get to, but it's not what it felt like to me, and in some cases felt like has been right, as opposed to rules as they appeared to be written, at least. The Aleppo Independent is gone, but it happened, which means now, before the Seljuks could not attack it, but now that Aleppo is no longer independent and is pro-Roman again, they can attack it, and because that came up once, they are able to win the game by taking it, which changes the nature of everything, right? It just felt like it should be that it's while it's independent that you could take it. No, independence actually means they're no longer pro-Roman. Well, they're pro-Roman and pro-Seljuk and cannot be attacked. Again, I think an absolutely literal reading of the rules as written makes sense that way. But once I start throwing questions in my head, I stop reading the rules that way and start suspecting that, oh, maybe something else is meant here. So far, I haven't found anything where that absolute literal reading doesn't work, but it is requiring more puzzling out than I would like. Doesn't matter if I end up playing rage playing like I did on the last video, at the end of the last video, because I'll just make shit up. When I'm in that state, I'm like, yep. And I'm hoping that's where I am, because that is actually how I think I get to my, yeah, I did enjoy it. I just struggled early on. Battery charged, how about that? That's less likely than it not fully charging. It's Thursday morning, like 1 in the morning, I guess. Real time. Time everybody else uses. 2 for me, but that's because I don't set my clocks back. Or forward, or whatever it is. Back. Fall back. Forcing myself to get back up here to Seljuk. It's been a tough week, kind of emotionally for me, as they all are, really. I managed, I went shopping last Friday, and instead of dancing, and then had my gaming group over on Tuesday. We don't make it every week. It's kind of been in this one woman's hands. But it's weird because, like, 2 people we had, I don't know if it was the last couple weeks. Last week, weren't able to make it. 2 new people were able to make it. Other people were possibly going to be there, which would have screwed up my numbers because I was playing a 5-player. Ended up doing Tammany Hall. But I'm a little bothered because they're just not willing to cut deals and do a lot of table talk. And unfortunately, I was doing rather well in the game. I don't know. That's a habit. So one of the problems is, yeah, it was a couple of completely new people. One was used to gaming, but I think mainly like Magic and role playing. So like not used to cutting the deals at a table. And I'm not working with the normal people. Like, I don't know. I'm not working with the people I had before, so I'm not like getting a constant group. I'm getting like kind of a random selection, and like, yeah, I don't know if I would have done Tammany Hall if I had known I was going to have again such a shift over. Anyway, I'm having trouble forcing myself to come up here, but it's levy time. Let's get a little bit in. I have to do some stuff tomorrow. It's kind of one of the guys who's gaming with me bought me all kinds of lights. These guys are to replace the flickering guys up there. I don't want to show you them because it'll just blind you. But I mean, I don't know. He's the guy who helped me with the plumbing, and I think he felt bad about like having to call the emergency plumber when he didn't actually have to, but he was worried. And it's like, you don't have to buy, I don't know. He knew I wanted lights and stuff, and I'm not going to push him on it, but I tried to make him give me a price for what he bought, but he bought some stuff that I didn't want, just confusing, and it's like, stop being nice like this. That's not good for me. I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, we're on the levy. Means I got to reshuffle. I don't like games where you have to shuffle every turn. That's one of my gripes about the levy and campaign stuff is every fucking turn you got to reshuffle these decks. They're not as bad. They're still a little too inflexible for my taste, but they're not as bad as the worst of the armored cards that GMT used to make. I don't think they have them anymore. I think this is what they go with. Anyway, let's see if we can get a little bit in, because otherwise I'm probably going to go dancing on Friday, and I don't know, because I can't make my mind up about anything ever. I was curious about this rule that I got corrected on. I knew it existed. In campaign capability discard, that's at the early part of the campaign. The player, Seljuk first, must select and discard any capability cards they have exceeding their number of muster lords. Then there's this non including any this lord capabilities. And I have a tendency, those kind of clauses, to just not read them, which is, I think, what came into play here. I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, let's draw. Norman scheming. If Ransel or Robert is Seljuk ally, Romans discard one random held card. Well, they only have one. Now, they haven't had to do anything yet, so I guess it goes into the deck for them. And then the second one, Alp Arslan consolidates power, lower this year's Seljuk unity threshold by a number equal to permanently disbanded Seljuk lords. If that happens at this moment, there are none. So, no biggie there. Now we shuffle the Romans. I'm glad I didn't shuffle both decks. I'm trying to convince myself to stick with the game. It's really hard. But part of it is I've hooked myself into yet another online game. So now I'm playing two, which is how it was when I was playing Raid. But the one I had been playing, I've kind of thrown aside, and I'm barely playing it. I'm playing this one that was hitting all over Facebook with ads based on Foundation. Well, it's not, it doesn't feel particularly like anything in it, but I was interested in the IP and how they'd handle it. Well, they don't. But the interaction is a little bit richer, and I can do things whenever I want still, which I can't in the other game. I don't know. Afwin murders Seljuk officers, I think. Afsin. This little S with the thing on it. Afsin's fealty marker is 2. Beg. If already marked, okay, he's not. This is a one-time, but then you... Okay, we need a marker for this. See, now this one, hold on. We just had this one. And we don't have a number for this, which is a problem. But we need this Afsin one. And somehow I'm making up for... Okay, who is Afsin? There's Artak, and guess, I don't know. It's got to be Seljuk. Okay, so his fealty is now a 2. What does that mean? That means he's a lot less likely to be brought into play. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave that there because it might affect things, but normally I don't know how I'm going to remember where it is. Unpredictable weather this campaign. If spring or autumn, it is spring. Passes cannot be used for supply, march, avoid battle, or retreat. If summer, the plan stack is 9 cards, more than usual. Seljuk player has to use 1 no command. Okay, so this is interesting. Let's see how this is if spring or autumn, passes, and then period. If summer, comma, period. Seljuk player must use 1 no command. I think the Seljuk player has to use a no command in either case because that's separated by a period from the summer as well. But I guess we dig into here again. And this is card number 17. Let's see what it says. Only if it happens in summer. Okay. Well, that was useful. It could have been better divided, but not easily within the text of this. So what do we get? We get the no passes. I think there was one. Passes closed. And good God, the clutter on the calendar means I'm going to have a hard time remembering that because of the way I play. I don't know what to do about it. But I am exhausted by just pulling a couple of cards. Let's take a look at pay. We'll get a little bit more. Who's in trouble? We can do this much. Oh, lots of people. Okay, Alp Arslan is in trouble. His force has been decreased. Now, if he comes off the board, and this is the problem with these guys with big service numbers, he'll be off for 4 turns. But I think I'm going to do that anyhow. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Where does this go? I don't remember where this goes. Oh, it goes in the tray, along with everything else. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of him. This is him as well. And those are both ×1. And we'll put his shit away. I like being without him, and I could have conceivably paid him off over here, but I didn't have any cash or anything left. It makes sense to leave him to leave him off board. The rest look like Byzantines. Let's see who we're looking at here. Okay. Arrow guy. Arrow guy, why is... Oh, he's not Byzantine. I have a coin. I could keep him in for another turn. Fuck. I don't like having almost no one. That's the problem. But he only has a lordship of 1. He's not going to generate much. Fuck. I don't know what to do. I think we pay him off. Because otherwise the coin goes away. Right? Alright, and let's look at the Byzantines. The Byzantines don't have any coins, don't have any loot, so they're not going to be able to pay anyone off. Which means all of these come back. That's going to be 2 of these. And 2 of these come off the board. Okay. His, again, I don't have the money. 2 of these come off. Both sides are evaporating here. And that's everyone who's coming off board at this point. We did the pay, we did the disband. We'll be at muster. I don't have the will to do that yet. I'm sorry. It's just, it gets hard for me. Like, coming back is particularly hard. And I know I'm not going to finish this turn, you know, until, say, Sunday, probably. Yeah, battery did not play out. Thursday afternoon, I actually managed to get the thing I needed to get done. Like, I absolutely needed to get done. Did a half-assed job on it, I'm sure. It'll fail. But at least maybe something will come back. And here I am at the muster stage, which, you know, it's not where I'd want to be, but I've got to get some going. I've got the problematic situation of having pulled Alp Arslan off. It's almost never a good idea to, you know, get rid of your big mustering guy. And, you know, I'm going to have to accumulate coins to try to bring him into play more quickly and whatnot. It's going to be very hard to operate without him, but I wanted to resurrect his forces. essentially. He had taken a bit of a beating, and I probably made a mistake by getting rid of him. It feels like a good idea in terms of like, yeah, he'll get his troops back, but it takes him forever to do it. We'll try to rush that as much as we can, though. We have this asshole who has much less fealty, and I'm kind of afraid to ever let him go because of that. Although he's not doing me much. We'll try to muster what we can in terms of people who can bring more people into play on the next turn, I guess. Giving capabilities seems kind of useless at this point. Yeah, see, this would be useful too. Because these guys just aren't going to be all that helpful, and they're far back and everything. Although, yeah, you can muster when you're not at home, like in your absolute home. Hold on. These three leaders are the ones with 2 lordship. I kind of want to bring one in here and one in down here, which leads me to this guy I'm going to put aside. His territory's been captured, conquered. Well, no, it is his territory. It's got a conquered marker. It doesn't feel like it should be his. It's just rough on me. I only have 3 lordship rolls total. Someone needs a cart more than someone else, I guess. These territories are all ravaged, but some of that ravaging is going to go away. Got to get rid of this one because it's the wrong color. It should have flipped, but my misunderstanding of the rules because of how they're structured caused me issues. So let's have this guy open up. He needs a 1 to 3 to bring Iran in. I get him. That's cool. This guy is available, right? Yeah, he's back here. We'll try, I guess, using his 1. I don't like just having 1 cart, but to bring in a leader, and this is also a 1 through 3. He does not bring him in. Now the question is, do I want to try to bring this guy in as well? 2 carts can work okay, so I'm going to take another shot at him. Like, just a single cart per lord can work okay, and this guy actually has, no, he only has 1, because you can borrow carts to supply yourself and to move. So, well, moving doesn't really help. We don't get him, and that used up all my activities. Now I fill him out. This battery's not fully charged either. I'm looking at the Imperial Fortress construction. It gives you 2 fort markers, and then you can place them on unfortified locales. I'm looking at that as a means. Jesus, I don't know. Like, I thought it repairs the fuck. I thought it repairs the ruins and gets rid of the point for that. Somebody mentioned that. But then again, if the ruins isn't there, this is back to full strength. So that's weird. But the fort marker would be there to bring it to strength 1, and good God, I don't know what. Like, I've had an explanation on that. It just doesn't fucking make sense. I look at this. The fort markers are placed. Seljuk ruins is removed when the fort marker is placed. Adjust the victory point markers. But I had a clarification that the fort is indeed a 1-point fort. It just gets rid of the ruins. Now, I don't know if the ruins would come back if that fort is, like, destroyed. I guess it would. Yeah. But beyond all that, the question is this capability something that disappears? Does the fort just disappear? I don't think it can. That would cause even more problems where, like, the ruins would be dissolved by that or something, like completely rebuilt by getting rid of this. this is a really messy card. And again, I feel like they're just going further and further into the, wow, you're going to have to nail down a lot more, a lot better than you do to get up to the level that like Nevsky was at. And now I'm just making shit up, which is okay if I wasn't videoing it. If I was just playing it solo by myself, I'd just make shit up. I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't hassle that much. But I feel like I need to pay more attention and go through with that finer comb. But I think this is something I want to do. It's apparently a card I assigned to somebody, and it has lasting effects after it's been assigned. Okay, that's weird. And you'd never want it once you have 2 forts, you'd discard. I like to put dice to indicate, because these guys bought a card each. He bought this cultivated or centralized administration back. If I can remember to use it, it's very powerful. But if I can't remember to use it, I got issues. And this guy, I need carts though for that to work. This guy picked up the fortress construction. I'm going to have to remember to give him an action. He can use it for drawing supplies, so that's not too bad. I'd like to get me another dude. These two both start out over Constantinople. I'm going to go for Romanos because he has a coin with him. I'm not really expecting a lot of battle. So he needs a 3. Gets that. So we'll be getting him in play. Let's find him. He's my secondary commander, who I'm forced to muster at times, and I don't know. There may be some big negative to having him there. And that means this goes down to a 1. And I don't know what else. This guy needs cart. He'll grab that. And then what? Probably muster myself some troops. We'll take an infantry, because I think that's more useful to me. These do say, yeah, they say infantry. I have trouble telling the difference. He's used up. He took 1. I'll take a cart. And over here, we'll take a cart. Because I just think that's... having 2 carts per is really valuable. And that uses up all my levy. I have to fill him out. I was considering, get his extra troops, because I have to revitalize him with coin or something at some point. But you know what? The extra troops are... and we're going to... this guy has a higher command, so we're going to make him the lieutenant. That's not yet, but I want to make sure that I understand that. There was something I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. And because I'm not planning on fighting heavily, I think, I don't really need as big a force, especially when I'm bringing 3 guys with me. But there are advantages to having so many people. Arms we will buy. I don't know where the markers went. It'll be over here. We'll buy this back again. I am allowed to supply from that, right? Fuck. Even though it's ravaged. That's the big question. Can't be enemy lords, but it doesn't look like it has a problem with being ravaged. I'm still able to use it as a supply source. That's what I thought. So that's going to be the call to arms over on the Seljuk side. On the Byzantine side, it's a little bit more complex, isn't it? Why do I have this? Is this useful? Not terribly. Okay. So I don't want to get rid of that unless I need to. Which means my call to arms, I have two. I could take a strategic objective and make it available in front of me. Or if I have one from a previous, I can place it in a mustered enemy lord or an enemy stronghold. I would kind of like to capture something again. The other option, though, is my Empress, which allows me to fiddle with my cylinders. I don't know which to do. Like, getting victory points is great. I think I'll leave her there. I can always upgrade her again. I'm going to look for a strategic objective, I guess it's called. Can't imagine they would be on the back of that. I don't know what this reserve is. There they are. I'll take a strategic objective. That way I can place one next turn, set myself up for victory points, because I'm at a stronger position than in the last. And that's going to put me on campaigns. It's time to do the planning and all that. My battery's almost run down. It's time for me to break. Might go outside and have a drink and part of a cigar or something. I've had a cigar already this week, and if I go dancing tomorrow, oh no, I had it on Friday. Wow. Well, still struggling with coming up to play. I did a lot of stuff on mainly the one computer game, which unfortunately is getting me hooked in a little too much. But I also got some good stuff done. Managed to split some wood today, which I've been having trouble doing, but now the wood's seasoned enough. I thought it would be hard because it's wet. Because when the axe hits the wet wood, the water all oozes out, and I think it's not going to split. Actually, it worked pretty well. I was intending to try to split it before the rain started, but it doesn't seem to hurt. Anyway, here we are at the beginning of the campaign. It's time to do the planning side, and I'm going to just kind of play it by ear. I don't know why I'm struggling with this so much. I don't know. And I realized lieutenants are not a substitute. Even if they can, even if normally you only have 2 leaders, your commander only has 1 leader with him quite often. Here, well, I'm going to be leading 2 different units. I can't use the cards for the underling for anything. It is only this which uses cards. The underling just follows. His cards are passes. So, I'm only going to be using 7 cards anyway, so it's not a problem. I can go 4 and 3 or whatever. But it doesn't give me the kind of flexibility that having the overall commander on the field gives me, where I can utilize those sub-commanders to provision my force. We'll see how much of an effect that has. Romans, I decide not much. With the Seljuks, maybe I wanted to do that. But Diogenes has this advantage, which if I remember to use it is effective, and his command capability and everything. I actually want to use him many times. If I wanted to say tax with these guys, I could get some extra coinage, but I feel like I need Chartorius to have a shot at getting that. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't use him for that. I use him for attacks. I'm gonna use attacks from each of them. The reason is, yeah, there's no harm in that. The reason is I'm gonna need coins to make up for my movement later on. What this means is that these guys that I'm using just for taxation aren't really doing much. You know, they're gaining a coin which can delay their own leaving by a turn. But with Sartorius, I don't actually need him there. So if I can use that coin on someone else at a key point. Now, when do I pay? I pay before I disband. So he could actually pay someone else off, if I'm correct about that. Their owner, other lord's service, has to be same locale, which is the only real problem. So I don't know if he's actually doing me any good. But, because he's going to disappear next turn. He could delay his own leaving, which isn't bad. Movement so far, in part because I don't have a lot of carts, so I can't really supply my guys very easily. I have to do a supply action to get back there. I'm going to do quite a few of them to prepare for a siege there, and then drop into the siege, I guess. Kind of like to get this back, but and likewise, I'm remembering, well, I am remembering, but I'm playing by the rules this time, leaving the boxes with a full card of movement now, which is written on these, but I don't end up seeing that. Remember, the passes are all fucked this turn. Counting on the calendar makes hard. This is also a spring turn, which means that we're going to recover a lot of those ravages. Not terribly pleasant for Arasigi here. He moved here. He just took his first point to get some supplies so he can actually move. And I'll move 2-3 here. I'll get myself a siege marker for that. And then eat my supplies. I'm close to a location I can supply from, at least. You know, actually, no, I only had one cart. I was going to say I could actually hit multiple sources from here, because I was one away from each, but I only have one cart. So with Diogenes, I taxed, I moved here, then this last action I had to supply twice to get to here, and I'm still down to only 2 provender. And honestly, I can only get 1 more provender with each supply action, so it's not, you know, it takes a lot of work to move this big army. Now, I could not move everybody, but I did kind of want to gather. That's interesting. I can give this guy his troops. So many different types of troops in this one. Okay. You know, I was thinking, oh, well, I could run all the way across. Yeah, I could have gotten to about here. I think I have a couple of provender left. I don't know. It's just, it's really painful. Now we're on that guy again. It's time for him to do supply, both to here, which I believe he can do. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I got 2 carts. Barely. And then establish the siege. Now, Diogenes is at the end of his supply line. This will be the last place where he can get that, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because he's got 2, 3, 4, 5 carts. He's down to 1 provender. But he's used up all his cards, as has this. Very little has been done. Right? Although a couple of sieges have been established, we may not want to stick around because that's nasty. But on the other hand, what can we do? You know, do we want to just fall back? Always a problem. That puts us to the end of the campaign rather quickly. We're going to have to grow. There's not going to be any repairs. There is wastage. And there's no reset. I didn't muster on my way through. Get rid of that one that was illicit. I just didn't want that there. But I've got to get rid of a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 Which way is it? Reduced to half, rounded up. So I got to get rid of, I guess, one more. And this is an interesting question. I think I'm going to get rid of this one because it's not doing any terrible good. But, and that's going to be a whole point off them. Getting rid of things that are deeper in, those are harder to regain. So you kind of don't want to get rid of those. But getting rid of ones that are close means that there's forage capability and whatnot for the enemy if he falls back, which it's sort of a hard call in either direction, which way you want to do it. Kind of sucks, because I need these carts. I'm going to get rid of coins. I'll get rid of a provender here, I guess. I could get rid of Joan, but that can save him Icon, not Joan. That can save troops, and I expect to go into battle, so yeah, we will do that. And that's the end of wastage. That means we're going to be back up to levy. And I never remember to flip from levy to campaign. That's going to put my levy over there. Well, that was a quick one. We did that. That's how I expect the turns to go. You know, that I don't agonize over stuff and complain as much as I have been. Friday, another very pretty day. Cold, I mean, not real cold, but, you know, not something where I want to sit outside and without a coat on. I went out and tried to split some wood. I split one or two, but I found that I guess I had a blister or something that I didn't notice, and it peeled open, didn't feel so hot, so I stopped. I'm going to try to get through the levy phase here in the summer and see what we got. That means shuffling the Arts of War, blah, blah, blah. Things, you know, as more and more capabilities get put out, the smaller the deck becomes. Of course, you know, you've got some deck building type atmosphere in here in terms of trying to control what's going to come out. Norman Extortion. Add your treachery card to the command deck during plan phase. Roman player adds a no command. So that's going to move us from 8 to 9 cards here. Again, Bad Omens. Hold. Play on the Seljuk command card to inspect top 2 Roman plan cards. And replace them in either order. That could be really, really potent. Like if somebody's carefully planning their turn, you can fuck it up with that. Now, I haven't been carefully planning shit for various reasons. We gotta get that treachery in there. There's one more Norman that I could swing to my side, I guess. To the idea that the treachery card and its correlated no command card are added to the deck because it means that the campaigns don't get interfered with. I think in Inferno, I don't think they worked that way. Again, I don't remember terribly well. I may have played it, you know, they may have worked that way, and I may or may not have played with them that way as well. But yeah, the idea of replacing one of your command cards with one of these means that you can do less. And you can make some argument for them, but it makes a lot more sense that this kind of politicking going on doesn't actually eat up a lord's movement in time. You can make similar arguments maybe with taxation, but you know, if the lord has to be at his seat and whatnot and oversee it, I can see why the taxation takes up some of his effort and fits in a little better. This, on the other hand, is a little bit more random. On to the Romans, I guess. Play during a siege on a fort. Instead of rolling, the fort automatically surrenders. Now, forts are the level 1s, but this is a powerful little thing. normally, the first turn of siege is hard. And mountain ambush, play as a battle if that locale is adjacent to a pass. Round 1, Roman walls 1 to 3 against missiles. Again, we actually, you don't have to play this as a defender, which means I could ambush into here because it's adjacent to a pass, even though I'm not traveling on the pass, blah, blah, blah. It's interesting. Definitely a neat advantage. We're starting to get to so many hold cards that I have trouble. Even in systems where hands full of cards are sort of a standard thing. Think War of the Ring, the old SPI, where you have some event cards, some hold cards that you might want to use for various things. Even in something where that's all they're doing, and there aren't a lot of cards being used and a lot of complexity in the game, they're still kind of troublesome, and I tend to forget them. Go a little higher to the I want to say CDC. No, I can't even remember. The CDGs. Get the CD right. Yeah, there's something, my brain is not working the way it used to. It's getting more and more towards dementia as it goes, which may be some of my problems with games, along with other things. You'd think I do enough mental stuff that it would hold it off, but I don't know, maybe not. But anyway, those CDGs, I get used to looking at the cards when I'm trying to figure out my turn and whatnot. So like the fact that there's upside down cards doesn't mean much there. Those are really problematic. Here, these upside down cards, when I'm entering combat or something, I could see use of them, but they have other uses. So it's like, yeah, I might not remember that I'm supposed to deal with those at all. And it's always going to be problematic for me. Pay. There's no vital reason to pay anyone right now. If I had 2 coin, it would be a good idea. I've had to throw away coin due to wastage. Over here, same thing. But if I were going to tax, it might not be a bad idea to burn to pay. And I probably should have done that last turn, but I didn't know what I was going to program, You've got to plan so much in this game. There's not going to be any disbands. Oh, we're on a new turn. Wait. Shit might be happening. Hold on. I'm wrong. This guy's got to pay if he wants to stay in the game, and he does. I lied. This guy's got to pay if he wants to stay in the game, and he does. The purple thing is okay. I could push that forward, but there's advantages to holding onto your coin, I guess. Let's go to the Romans, and we got problems. We definitely want to keep our emperor in play. And is this him? I can't fucking tell what's what in this, because they're not. This is him. Oh, that is him. Chartreuse or whatever here needs to pay if he wants to stay in. His money goes away if not, so unless I want to demobilize him, I won't do that, but I got a problem. I think I can pay with him. He's got 2 of my fucking cards, which may be absolutely vital to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is. So I got to check to see. I think he can pay, but I'm not positive. Same locale allows me to keep paying, so we push that forward. Nothing of interest there. We handled the disbands in with the pays. That's why we're paying. So now we go to the complexity of the muster. Ugh. It's an interesting situation because, his force could have dissolved a little, could have gotten unable to get up there, all kind of complex stuff. Of course, I could not scavenge, forage. But it makes this siege much more questionable whether or not I can stand for it. Of course, with this leader, with his lower fealty, it's like, he's become a lot less valuable in a lot of ways. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. Looking through the cards, but I see this Winter March. Now, I can't pick this. This is an event. But it's a hold card. Play in Winter before Bounty to activate a Seljuk Lord. This is very powerful because it gives you an additional activation. So you could dig in deeper to get more points, to get more towards your requirements, and then run back maybe with your loot and run a little further back using the Winter March. There's no cost to it either. It's just a card. It doesn't cause any attritional effects or anything. It's just something that looked interesting to me. I gotta swap batteries while I'm thinking. I had the whole look through the deck so much that, to find things, to figure things out, just like I kind of dread the planning phase. These are sort of the keys to the game system. Why am I playing something that is so antithetical to how I operate and how much I hate, doing these things? It's so funny. And I do, again, if I could think of another way that one could play this type of game, this kind of situation, but it's taken this long to get an operational system that works in sort of the ancients and medievals particularly well. Certainly in the medieval period. I don't know so much in the ancients. There are things like the Berg system, Rise of the Roman Republic, and I don't know, Thunderbolt is the next one. Carthage is the other one. I wonder what that's kicking around. There it is. That handle operational functionality, but that's a more command and control, etc., is exercised over the forces. This feels so right in this. Even the fucking up aspects feel right. Now that battery's not charging. That can't be right. Something's weird if that one's not going, which means some damage. But anyway, the reason I was saying that was because I wanted to say something else, which now I've forgotten, and feel like I'm just avoiding looking through this. What was that something else? Damned if I remember. It was much more interesting than that I have trouble with these cards, at least to me. Fuck. As one thing, I've gone too offensive. I can't muster anything. I'm in enemy territory. Uh-oh. Oops. So on to the Romans. Well, I made things easy for me. I feel like I have forgotten so many elements of what I should be doing and everything, as opposed, it feels like I'm fucking up in ways that I fucked up when I first faced Nevsky and had to play it multiple times to kind of get the feel for it. And then the later ones, even though they were a longer stretch, I think, between what I played last and this, I don't know. I know I struggled. See, I get Almoravid confused with Tanto Monta. I think Tanto Monta gave me more trouble. That's a CDG based on the Here I Stand thing. I like it better than Virgin Queen, not as much as Here I Stand, but whatever. All right, let's push on. The problem is, I looked at a card like this, which would just be useful for him, right? But the next one I looked at was this deep raids. And I'm like, oh, that would be so cool. But I want to play it when I'm close in there. You can't do that. You've got to telegraph ahead of time and put it there while you're still in Seljuk territory. And again, that means that kind of planning that is just hard for me to cope with. I'm much more an opportunistic player in most games. For the Romans, for the most part, I'm looking at mustering new lords as being particularly ineffective because almost all of my lords, the exceptions being these two, are back here. Now, one's in Ankara, okay, but that's not close to the front either. So it's very hard after that spring turn to muster a new lord. I definitely need to get more carts, I guess, because right now I'm at the limit of my carts, but that then means wastage situations at the end of the turn. But I'm going to need at least one more cart to get to here, two more to get somewhere else. I'm thinking about playing this so that I get the strategic advantage, the point for the strategic command. I don't know where I want to go. This is the easiest place for me to take. I mean, this would have been easy too, but I already took it. That's not. What I'd like to take is this, to take that away from him, that opportunity to advance, but that's a 2-point area and it's kind of far from my army. This is not all that far, but I could actually cut the Seljuk in half almost by taking the things around Lake Van. So that's kind of appealing. I'm really struggling with this side of things. One of the things I was considering was, look, I could muster one of these things, but then I got to spend. First of all, I can't because I don't have the capabilities open to me, although I may discard some when I'm allowed to. The centralized administration is going to go after I leave Roman territory. But after I leave Roman territory, I can't muster anymore. But like mustering one of my extra force units, in particular this one. See, this one I don't want to levy because I've got 5 units. That would put me to 9. I'd eat too much. This one will put me to 7, and it's really good stuff. And I'm very attracted to it, but I don't actually, I don't have space for it right now. So I won't be doing that. I'm thinking about military stuff for one of these two, probably him, because he's so weak right now. Although I might muster more troops for him, because he's kind of a waste the way he is. This whole balancing, but I've got to get the carts in play. But what I don't have to do is muster any more commanders, I think. I'm thinking about letting this guy lapse. His other option is, because he goes away next turn, right? I'm looking for him. I don't see him. Yeah, he and his subordinate go away. Rather than trying to retake Hama, which I guess I can take. I'm confused about the politics of the Fatimids right now. But there really isn't, he feels like a waste of resources when what I want to do is focus on my main army. Massively increase the martial capabilities of these guys. These guys got the Tagmata here. Lots of carts under Diogenes. Why? Because I need to transport without being laden, I guess. I don't know. I couldn't think of what else I want to do with him, is honestly what it came down to. I could try to muster someone, but that doesn't really do me any good. So all the levying operations I could do with his 2 cards filled up felt kind of goofy. Actually, if there's an any, or an all, maybe I'll get rid of one of those cards. I hold something already. I'm going to play the Armenian garrisons. That makes it a lot harder to storm this. I don't know how much people are storming. Not like the Seljuks are particularly good at things, but I felt like I had too many carts there. That's going to put me to this call to arms. Got to think real hard, because I got to get out of here. I mean, with how he built up his army, I don't think I can face him. So I got to run away. I get to run away before he gets to do anything. Of course, I've got a provender issue, but I can supply first. But I definitely have to fall back from where I am. And I don't know, maybe it's worth just putting, what is this? There's a coin to create another Seljuk seat on here, which I can move later. I have to look it up always. And I don't remember what the other thing I can do is. Call to arms is, oh, it's in here, I'm sure. Yeah, I can't even do that. So I guess we'll do the call to arms to set up another seat for later. But over here, I kind of want to do this, which is, of course, I got the Empress. I could extend my see, this is so hard because everything is going to collapse if I don't extend. But strategic objective, no, there's nobody in Constantinople. See, no, this is worded differently. So if desired and if a Roman commander is in Constantinople, I can take a strategic objective and make it available in front of me. Got that. Alternatively, if I have at least one in front of me from a previous, I may instead place. Now, it doesn't, that's not part of this parenthetic, this clause. This is a different sentence. I instead place one of those available on a mustered enemy lord mat or an enemy stronghold in the Sultanate. Now, the advantage of this, I can't do both at the same. There's 3 there. Yeah, but what do they do for me? God. Now I got to figure out what they do. Like, I know that they give me victory points, but I don't remember when. I gotta look through all the rules to find that. What does this do for me? It doesn't have a rule number either on the counter nor, and this is one of the things that generally hits me, nor here that helps me. Once a marker is claimed after being placed, okay. So 4.91. I know I don't have to keep the thing. That's the whole key. So let's find 4.91. There is a rule there. Oh, it's the storm rule. Well, that's not fucking right. God damn it. Yeah. I mean, you know how painful it is to find rules. So I'm not going to video that any longer. I'm going to just jump away and go through that pain on my own. But that's what I keep suffering here, is having to relook up things. And, you know, why is this sending me to siege? Okay, that doesn't seem like that's where it would be in Storm and Sally. So now 4.51, yeah, I'm lying, am I not? I'm doing that. 4.51 is siege rule. Here we go. I claim it by putting it in the holding box. I guess it's just a victory point that I get. I'll declare this, I guess. Although this may be more dicky, because then he has to go through all kind of passes. I'm going to go for this. I think that's actually the dickier thing to go for. So that is the call to arms, and we're on the campaign. I'm going to actually do the programming because I know things right now that I may not know when I come back to the game. in terms of especially what the Byzantines need to do. Because they need to tax. They can't. Fuck. I have the Empress, but it's going to be too late. Loot might be able to help me keep things in the field. Oh, yeah, I got tons of problems here. I mean, I can tax once, and that causes an issue. Jesus, maybe I want to do the Numisna thing. I do have 4 leaders on the board. This is not helping me. Fuck. Get rid of another fucking cart. Hey, it's so hard to get your army to do the things you need it to do. You need to coordinate so much. I'm going to count on being able to destroy these guys. I don't think I can. But that seems to be the only thing I can do. Otherwise, my whole army is just going to dissolve. Like, everybody goes away except this guy. Next turn. Looting and whatnot can get me some survivability. But yeah, if I didn't do that for call to arms, I don't need to do this. What is hers? Because maybe I just need her. I may either place her on the card or move her, shifts a Roman lord or cylinder 1 calendar box, or decrease a lord with a seat at Constantinople 1 and increase Romanos. Yeah, no, that doesn't really help me. All right. Like, I could burn somebody. They wouldn't have to disband yet, but they would have to disband after battle. That may not be such a bad thing. I don't know. Fuck! It's just so painful. All right. Got a pattern for supplying and whatnot the Romans who are on the offensive here. But now comes the big question of what I'm doing with Alfson Bay here and what else I'm doing. I think I'm going to go with some sort of mixed thing. He's not really being threatened. So whatever he does can go late in the turn. Bay is being threatened, but I may need an action from him late in the turn to further get away. So it's like there's a very complex sort of set of choices you have to make here. But I think I want to trigger from him early. Now the question is, I can look at the Romans and say, they're not able to actually fight me without like overextending their supply. So they're going to have to do some supplies. So maybe I do some siege first and then get out of there. I'm all set. We'll see how it works. I did throw him at the end of the pile. The treachery card, it kind of doesn't matter where it goes. It's going to go towards the end because it's not going to make a damn bit of difference. Now, the guy I'm looking at is the guy up here. He's much more loyal, I think, than this other dude. No, they both have fealty of 4. Interesting. It is fealty, isn't it? I don't know. Fealty, yeah. I'm not counting on either of us having money to spend for this. So, you know, whatever. All right, I'm breaking for a while and may not be back up again today. You know, I don't know what the hell to do. Yeah, I wanted to split some more wood, but my hand says no to that, and I know I've got to go out dancing. It would be wise if I could nap, but oh, there we go, big rich squirrel there. Whee! All right, I've decided I have to get out of here with Afson Bay. That's complicated, to tell you the truth. I also have to look something up. So I made a roll. Does he stick around? Does he not? He chooses not to. But now I have to actually worry about, because I can put a ravage here. If I reconquer that, it goes against me, I think. Again, the ravaging is different here from in others. I can use a command action to place a ravage there. The locale must be currently enemy and not yet ravaged. Places the opposite color to the locale's current allegiance, which now we have the term current allegiance. Like, this is weird. And but anyway, so I can ravage this location. I'm going to want to ravage this location and give up the siege. Ravaging here, I'd be facing... Fuck, that's going to laden me. If I spend 2, I actually can't even get out of there. So I got to spend 1. I think we're going to try to hurt him from this. I rolled the wrong thing. We fail. That's 1. Two. We're bypass. We have to bypass. Actually, 2. I can't ravage again, but I can try to pillage. I could supply. The fuck. 2, I grab a supply. 3, I'll grab another supply. And 4, I fall back here, and the siege actually ends up here instead. So we've fallen back without dropping the point that I wanted to drop here, but I don't have much choice there. And now I have to spend 2 provender to feed the 2 armies that I moved, I think. And now I'm over here. He needs to gather supplies. He can't move his army. So I've got enough carts to gather supply. I can grab 3 provender without cost. And I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but we're going to try to retake this, I guess. At this point, I'm at 2 fucking carts. See, if I'd fallen back this way, I would have a supply source here. But now my supply source is too far away. I've got to fall further back. But I am allowed to draw supplies. We're hitting another one of his. Barinos again, with his big 3 actions, I can pull... I have enough cart to be able to pull another 3 supplies. And there's not a hell of a lot else I can do with him. He's planning on getting the supplies forward so I can launch these attacks. But yeah, it's painful. And here we have another bay. I don't have another one for quite a while. And I've been setting myself up so I can try to siege. Play on Seljuk command card. I think that means I can do it now. I can inspect his 2 things. I'm going to do this now. That doesn't help me. I can't swap them out. If I'd done the other order, I might have been able to interfere with him more. He can get to me. That's the problem. He can get to me. I have enough food to run away. I am going to, for one, fuck, that won't work. I only have 3 movement. The pass cost me 2 to move. If I plunder or ravage, which gets me a victory point, but I don't think counts towards my goals, I don't make it across the barrier. So instead, I give up the siege. I don't know why I was doing it. For 2, 3, I grab a provender, and then I feed my 2 armies. And I'm still blundering around. That puts me over to the Emperor, who has an extra movement point right now. And how much food do I have? I have 2, 4, 8. I could actually gather 2 food together and then move into place to siege this, and I think that's actually what I want to do. Hear me out here. I don't gather the food. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually have one more thing, so I'll grab 1 food with him. And then I have 4 more actions because I started with an extra. 1, no, yeah, I own this. 2, 3, 4. I make it into here. I don't know what I'm at, but we have a moved fort that's going to be here. But he's allowed to withdraw. He doesn't have to fight. You never have to fight. Maybe I should have stayed up here. I forgot about that rule. It's so hard to keep everything in my head. The problem if I withdraw is that means I move fight. Not withdraw, avoid. I am going to avoid battle with him. That gives him a moved fort. He's here. We spent everything, so we might as well put the siege in place. He's staying there inside the castle. We have a siege marker. We have to spend food. That's 1 off Afson Bay. That gets him out of there. But these guys have to spend 3. 1, 2, 3 we'll spend off him. That gets us to 4 provender on Nisivos. He can't carry that by himself, but he can operate with someone else. And we're back over here. I have some hold cards. I have to actually do the siege, but I can guarantee that I get it. And it works on a fort. This is a fort. We'll take that. That's going to flip this half point, but it puts me in a position where maybe I can keep pushing the Seljuks around. And we're going to be on the other commander. I'm going to hold there because I just don't feel comfortable enough keeping going. Dressed to go out, nothing fancy, but not my usual sweats. Our CG needs food to conduct the siege. He wants to move fast, but you can't do that in this game. He grabs himself 3 provender. Probably more than he needs, but whatever. This is not a good siege location, is I don't have a pathway going up. Had I gone for this, I would be able to keep my supplies in place. Right now I eat 3 supply and I only have 4 for each siege operation. I feel like we have to do it because we made this choice. Forgetting about my card, right? Honors of War. Play during siege on a fort. Instead of rolling, it automatically surrenders. Take no spoils. I'm going to look up what happens to that leader. I think he's just disbanded. but can come back. The way this is worded, I think it does give me a moved thought. I'll look that up to make sure. The siege action itself, and you know, I haven't paid yet. I get the conquered. This doesn't stay this way, it flips, which means I gain a point, but lose half a point. So that puts me here, but these guys gained half a point too. For having that flip. Now, I don't remember. I have to look that up. I have to look that up too. I was right about you have to take the siege action. That means he's going to get the moved thought. But I have to look that up, and I have to look that up. And boy, this is getting more expensive in terms of overhead that I have to do. But oh, this is complicated. So, surrender. Nowhere does it affect this, actually. So let's, oh, wait. An unbesieged lord may use a command. No, that's that ability. Okay, so that half point goes away and this half point comes back. I don't see that in the list, but maybe it's somewhere else and maybe I find that, which means that what I had here wasn't necessarily illegal. I don't know. But Ravage, this is its own command. Now, maybe it's under here. No, but it may be under Storm, in which case I don't know either. I don't see it there. Seed to Aftermath, 4.86. That's Aftermath of Battle. And actually, oh no, that exists. Wait, Aftermath? Siege conquered ruins and or victory markers. I know there was something that called out that Romans, and I thought this was within Roman territory, if they were the ones who ravaged the area, the marker moves against them, but it may be anyone in their own area, or it may be anyone at all, but I don't see it here, so fuck it. But here's where the problem is. If this was a surrender die roll, this doesn't say anything, right? It does say automatically surrenders. If this was a surrender die roll, I couldn't do it because the besieging side, there has to be no besieged lords. However, this card doesn't say anything about that. It does say surrender. So maybe I can't even do it. And I have to assault it. Which I didn't think was the case. But here, what were we at? We were at R25. The active lord must still take a siege action in order to be played. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I have no fucking clue. Like, there are no rules for removing him from this kind of situation. If it was an assault, which it isn't, we got roll walls here. This has to be assault, right? No, this is battle. Storm is here. Conquer. Here we go. If you conquer and sack the town, if the stronghold now has a ravage marker that is the same color as its allegiance printed on the map, flip it to the opposite color. If the stronghold has a Roman strategic marker on it, you claim it. Oh, you don't get that for surrender? Oh, what the fuck? Because, oh no, here we got the strategic marker. So this doesn't flip, but I don't think I'm allowed to even do what I just did. Because I wouldn't be allowed to get a surrender through the die roll here. So I think this is forbidden, which fucking means I don't think I want to take my turn. So I'll take the moved thought off. That stays here. This goes away because I just don't have fucking time to cope with this. And the siege is here. I think the only way I can take this is through assault. And I don't feel like I have enough time to do that tonight. So I'm going to put these dice over here to remind me and hope I remember what the fuck I'm doing. I was hoping to burn through the rest of the turn, but I don't have time to do a battle. And I don't even know if I want to do a battle, to be honest. Like, I had forgotten that you can't just force an occupied location to surrender, which I think was what I was trying to do here, but I don't know. Yeah, battery did not charge. Here it is. I mean, a little bit, but not fully. Here it is, Sunday. Kind of late in the day. It's hard to tell, it's so overcast. But I did go dancing Friday. And, you know, I mean, everybody was just so supportive. So there is that. But I also, you know, that wipes me out for most of Saturday. And even though I was mentally okay with coming up, like I drank less than usual this week, and I just couldn't bear kind of being awake and doing stuff. So, you know, I did. I played a lot of online games and napped a lot, and then ended up getting up kind of late today and played some more. And here I am in the midst of the Roman turn. I was trying to figure that out. I don't remember what stopped me. It's not the food. I have enough food. So I'm not really certain what was going on. Oh, I know what it is. It's that I can't siege him. I have to assault him. And that's an expensive thing to do, which I haven't done yet. It's expensive because the Seljuk defenses, this is a level 1 only, I think are a little heavier. A little bit. I mean, they have an extra infantry. But the biggie is, this guy is also there with his couple infantry. I'm not really counting those Turkic horse. They have really limited impact here. They have missile capability, but they have no melee capability at all, and are not armored or anything. His are nothing special. But anyway, I think I do have to go ahead with the assault. But if I'm going to go ahead with the assault, I don't remember if it's the last thing you do. Yeah, because like a battle, it's the last thing. So I think I can do numerous other things before I storm. And I have to find the rules for storming there. And strangely, ending the storm, like if you storm the castle, that's the only reason these flip, which is just weird. Like if you starve them out, it's okay that you did that? I don't know. It's only a command action. So I can gather some food, although I don't think I actually can. I have 2, 4, oh wow, I have a shit ton. I have 8 of those. But I have to make it back to a seat, which I can't do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Barely. Yeah. And that kind of fucks me. Well, I don't know what I can do. I mean, I could push into here instead. This 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm in range there. So if I abandon the siege, I don't remember if abandoning the siege costs something. March from bypass. A besieging lord has to use a march to replace the bypass. Oh no, that's to get to a siege. I think I can just march out of a siege. But I think so. Which would mean I could march to here, go into bypass, gather materials, but this is a lot harder to take. Well, maybe not a lot harder. Of course, it does have walls, right? Looking. What the fuck are these surrender? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's how many dice I roll for surrender, but I can't do that. I think that gives me 2 walls, but I don't see any indication of that. Oh no, it gives me 1 to 4 on the walls, which is a strong... See, that's the problem. There's a strong defensive barrier here. And now I can't use my defensive barrier against... when I'm assaulting. I can only use it when I'm defending against... the besiegers coming out. So, I don't know. I'm not able to just bypass him. Like if I go to bypass, I have to begin the turn at bypass or siege to leave that location. Fuck. Because I could relieve this siege. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me think. Let me see what happens to the leader. Although that kind of doesn't matter. He could just go away temporarily. Fuck. Now I could march up here and get this goal. But that seems stupid. I don't know. I'm just so fucking torn here in terms of what I want to do. What fucking kills me about this system, because it just doesn't ever settle in. Like, when I'm playing one Levian campaign game, eventually I get to the point where I start getting those rules of thumb and those patterns down. But it doesn't help me on the next time. You know? Like, it's just such an alien thing, how to do the planning and thinking in this, that there's always this huge fucking barrier for me towards coming back to these. And it's like my mind is not able to sort of absorb what I need to do in this game. You know? Like, the things that I've learned that I need to do in more traditional war games, or even stuff like Coin, they kind of stick with me. And yeah, maybe it takes me a little work to get through, you know, to get an idea in, like, oh, what the hell was it? One of the recent ones, the Indian one. that's sort of coin-like. It's this irregular series, which is all kind, which isn't a series at all, as far as I can tell. I don't know where I got it hidden. I can't remember when it happens. Is my problem. I mean, I know it's earlier than these. I thought it was over there, but I didn't see it over there. And I'm like, just wasting time now. Not Chandra Gupta. It's the VJ one. I don't even fucking know where it is. And, oh, there it is. Right next to Inferno. I keep looking there and not seeing it. I expected the box to be greener for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, with that, it took me a while, about half the game. And, to be honest, I'm at the half game point here. But to kind of feel like I was getting the flow of the game. So maybe that too was kind of difficult. Most of the coin games, I kind of can feel what I'm doing. That's very much based on coin, though. It feels like I can catch things a little quicker. That one felt a little more different. This one feels, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm left with this. How do I deal with this programming problem? Is the real issue, and that's always been an issue in this game. I would have the same issue. So like if diplomacy had a more complex plotting, I think it would cause the same kind of issues. Because trying to picture, but there I get to picture everything that's going on. It all happens at once, so I can say, I can see what can happen here, here, and here, whatever. I do know that, like with Trireme, when I would use plotted movement in some of the big ship scenarios, I would have my own ships slamming into each other because I couldn't keep track of everything that's going on. And that's kind of what's going on here. And that would never happen, right? Like, I mean, it would accidentally every now and then, but it just happened way too much. It's like my inability to pay attention to what my plots are ends up being gross negligence on the part of at least one of the captains involved. So I guess my play of the game is a gross negligence. And I kind of feel that way here, is that like, oh great, I'm out here and I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. But I think taking this base away is of more value. So let's go for that. We're going to pack up and move to here. That's a 1. I don't want to put the siege in place. I have 4. I have this thing I don't want. I have 4 here. That was 1. 2 is going to gather food. 3 is going to gather food. 4 is going to put me into siege, so I get 2 additional food. This guy eats. These 2 eat, well, he has to eat his. He does not have to eat his. So we're going to get rid of his provender instead. I did not use this command to build the fortress that I was going to build. And we did the move fight. This guy, does this guy want to be where he is? That's the question. Probably not. But I can't gather. See, he could withdraw. He has no food, so he's going to stay inside. But that helps defend the fortress. Otherwise, it could just be taken by siege. So, yeah. All right. We did a card. I'm going to break because doing that card required so much thinking. Like, I need to get away. All right. Okay. Actually, I don't know if I could do what I did because I split up a lieutenancy here. I'll leave it be, but I'm not sure if that was even legitimate. Arsigi continues with his siege. We're back here. Should be Diogenes again. No, it's Nicephorus. Now, he can siege. However, siege doesn't really help us. What we need to do, if we're going to do something, is an assault, and he can't command everyone, if I recall correctly, because the assault actually takes a march action or whatever, and I don't think it hauls everyone with me. Let's check that out. Let's try to find it. Any lord outside can use a command to launch an attack. I actually think everybody is involved. I just can't march them away. So, what I want to do here is gather up supplies so that I can launch that attack. Birenos has this. I only have 3 commands. Let's take a look. I have enough supplies for everyone. Okay, so we're going to do this and take a half point away. Now, this is just a 1-level fort at this point. So he falls back to here, I guess. Okay. Whatever's. And that was 1. 2, I think I have enough that I can grab supplies. 8, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can grab a supply for Birenos. 1 more, and I get the moved fought, and I will launch that assault against Aserbe. This is a level 2 fort. Aserbe will be in, I don't know who's in the front. I gotta follow this. But the leader who's in the front for the Romans is going to be this guy. The other 2 are kind of in reserve right now, I guess. And let's see, what do we do for setup? Follow the battle rules, except that each side's front row begins at most with 1 lord. But yeah, so he is actually here, along with the garrison, which at a level 2 is an additional 2 militia and an infantry. Now, these are weird because they're garrison units. I think they have to be taken first, I don't recall. And, oh, what the hell. Oh, the besieging player does have walls equal to the siege markers against missile and melee. Well, I didn't realize that. I thought because I'm charging forward, I wouldn't get that. Garrison's forces are melee and missiles. The infantry and militia have half missile. Garrisons add their strikes to the defending lord. The defender must assign all hits suffered to garrisons first until they're routed. Whenever routed units, the garrisons go back to the pool. The full complement is always there. Okay, so yeah, I have a level 1 wall. Is there a marker for that? I thought there was. I don't see one. What's this? I don't know what the fuck that is. So yeah, I have walls to defend me as well. And we take care of the attack. The only thing is the walls intercept damage before the actual leaders, the actual troops start taking damage. And the defender is always first. Oh, battle and storm. We have the storm procedure here. Place siege works as walls. Okay. Just put that there, I guess, to remind me. But we've got 1 to 4 walls on the defender, which is quite heavy. And then, since we're doing this for the first time, let's take a look at what our missiles are. We have militia, who count... the fuck is this? Why don't they mention... Like the star is missiles by capability. That's not the case. We have it... Okay, each lord of each side in the storm adds no more than... Let's take a look. Fuck, I don't know. Garrison forces over here talks about the halves, right? Melee and missiles. Infantry and militia are half missile each. But let's look. Besieging unit uses siege works as its own walls. The defending and melee strength. All defending units melee strength before any attacking units do, unlike battle in which horses proceed foot. The attacking side must absorb hits with armored units before doing so with othered. And each lord can only generate 6 hits in melee. Okay, so I have 1, 1.5. What are these? They're somewhere. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4, 5, 6. That's the 6. Oh, it's 6.5 though. 1.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1.5, 6.5, and missile is unlimited. So we're doing 7 hits. I think the first thing that I can do is I can roll for the walls. These are just 1s because I'm shitty. Okay, no wall defense worked, which means now I'm in danger. This is this guy. He's got to use his armored stuff first. We'll, I guess, use the infantry first. They're like 1 to 3 or something. One of them routes. Now I got to roll 1 at a time. That was 2 rolls. 3, 4, 5. Now the Tagmata, which are also 1 to 3. 6, 7 for 2 of them. They both survive. Okay, now I get to missile back. And these is 1.5, 2.5. These are both routed. So I do 2.5 hits, but these walls are 1 through 4. I think you round up on hits. I can't recall. I have to look it up if the numbers came out differently. Now we hit melee. Things do not look good, but I have a lot more troops to bring in. Where are we? Melee. Okay. Defender's melee is a half each. So 1, two, and then these crappy Turkic horse, which don't have a melee capability unless I have shock tactics. So they're kind of just on the wall shooting. So what did we say? We had 1, 2 walls. Don't do me any good. Tagmata. One of them routes. We get to come back. The Tagmata are full strength at 1 each. So that's 2 against the walls. No hits. Now we go down here and retreat, withdraw, ruin. Okay. We're not there. We're on the new round. On the new round, I'm able to bring in another leader. I like the idea of bringing Romanos in. So we'll bring him there. And we'll continue. We're going to have more power coming in on the attacks. But, yeah. Oh, a bunch more infantry got knocked out of the battle. I actually got a hit through the walls this time, but it didn't end up hitting the armored infantry there. And now we come back with the melee, which is not that impressive. That's just 2 shots. We got the crappy walls for the siege there, which one of them helps. And then I can put an infantry from him in. His Tagmata are actually stronger on defense, but I don't want to commit them yet. No, well, that doesn't work. And then we come back with 1, 2, 3, 4 hits there. I don't know why I'm... One of which might hit. But the infantry resists once again. So now we bring in the 3rd leader. And we've got, a massive amount of forces facing this, but it's hard to take out the fortress with its big walls. The Romans have taken some serious hits. They're really in weak shape. They did manage to wipe out the garrison. And now it's down to just the Turkics, which have no fighting power in melee, which means I get 1, 2, 3 shots, of course, against the walls to get through. And one of them maybe does. Yep. So there goes another of his. So it's beginning to look like we might win, but it's dangerous because we're facing Turkic, if I can find them, 3 missile firepower. And we don't have a lot in walls. We do have a couple of Tagmata. These guys with the heavier armor are all gone. We have 3 Tagmata. It could be in trouble here. At the end of the round, we got a couple of Tagmata, a few of the Turkic horse, facing just 1 Turkic horse left. So it's beginning to look pretty good for the Romans. We can finish up. The missile fire. The wall doesn't protect us. The Tagmata's armor does. And then we get to shoot back with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. One gets through the wall. And probably... No! Somehow the unarmored unit holds up. But now it has to face another couple. One gets through. And it again saves. So we're back again. Now the Turkic aren't getting a lot of firepower here. But... okay, the wall saves them. The firepower, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The walls, 1 gets through. This guy can't keep rolling 1s all day. So he's been defeated. And now we go to the consequences. Storm ends once the number of rounds. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I wouldn't have done this. God damn it. I mean, I just can't fucking remember everything, right? I can only siege for 1 round because that's all I have. Well, obviously I wouldn't have done that. So, I don't know. We restore everybody. Fuck me. We restore everybody. We don't worry about that. I guess instead of the moved fought, we don't play that. We forget what the fuck we're doing in this game because that is the nature of things. We spent the last round getting something. We could get a food instead, which would put our provender up to 4. We don't have to actually eat. And hey, look, I did a battle and didn't realize, you know, I mean, yeah. And I've made this mistake before in these games. It's just like there's just so much to hold in mind and so much that's so different. And I feel like, yeah, I'm storming the castle. I should be able to hit it. Well, no, I'm not. So instead of the storm attack, I did the other thing. This guy, I think, had 6. May have only had 5. I don't know. What would he have lost 1 off of? I got no idea. He has all this. And we just rewind and realize, yeah, I mean, there's no reason for me to siege it with, to assault it with just 1 attack. So, oops. Well, there was another failure for me. And every time I can't remember, you know, hold in mind. You know, I'm trying to catch up with the rules again and again each time. This is the first time we've done a storm. And just like with the battle, things just don't stick in my head. You know, I feel like I'm storming the castle. I should be able to just keep hitting it. Oh, well. And that's another break because I can't cope with the level of failure that I've got here. So frustrating how much this design, not this particular one, the whole Levian campaign, just is difficult for me to play. You know, I buy into it. I really do. I just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. The rules just don't stick in my head in this. And they do in most other things. Maybe it's that it's a game. So most games that use very different mechanisms tend to be simpler. And GMT rules are problematic for me in general anyway, even if they're well written and everything's right in them. And I feel like it is here. I've got my gripes about, yeah, there's a couple of things. Some of the cards I got to look up. There are a couple of little, where it feels like it's up in the air and I have to use reason, but I can usually figure that out. But the gripe that I kind of have the most about is that they rearranged the rule book in certain ways that I don't understand the why of it. Maybe it was decided that this format's easier or whatever, but I just am not finding things where I expect to find them. But I mean, even outside that, something like I can only hit it that many times. I knew that. I knew that deep down underneath. So I don't know why it's just not, you know, I'm just not holding the thoughts in my head. And this should not be in Levy, it's in campaign. I never remember to do that. But anyway, there we have it. We'll go on to the next one. You know, other times that I've played the Levian campaign, Nevsky, I had to restart. That was a game that was less about siege, but I basically had to play the whole thing and I think play it again. And I almost feel like I have to do that here. Some of the other ones, I kind of felt like I caught on a little quicker. I don't know. But this one, I'm halfway through and I'm still struggling with major not getting things. But some of that not getting things is siege and assaults and such not, well, the assaults especially, but siege is not a major part of this one. Right? So I hit it very late in the game, honestly. And we're at our Sigi again. If he has the supplies, he wants to siege. He's this guy. He has the supplies. This guy did not take a move fight. He would be in trouble if he fights. He would have been defeated too. But so we will do the siege again. We got 2 dice. Needing a deuce. On each. We don't get it. We eat and we put a 3rd siege marker into play. Is this optimal? Well, we're in kind of a hurry. Is part of the problem. And that, by the way, these are not lords. So one of these being present doesn't prevent the regular siege from working, as far as I can tell. Again, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's a little rule somewhere. That's going to put me on the next one over here. It is a Romanos. I got one of each left. Well, I feel like what I have to do, I have to increase the siege. I don't have much choice. Now, we're not able to get a surrender because there's no lord there. But the problem is, now I have to eat. So these two go away. This one comes. And now I don't have the provender to do it again. I'm going to have to gather up food again. And I'm only allowed 2 rounds of siege, which, as we saw from my test run that failed, like, it wasn't intended to be, but as we saw from that, probably not enough. Like, it took 3 rounds, or was it 4, before I got there. And that's just not going to work well. I do have the Arts of War, which don't help, right? We play as a battle, in a battle, if that locale is adjacent to a pass. That's not the issue here. This is a storm. We wouldn't be able to. Play during siege on a fort. This is not a fort. And also, we had decided it can't be used. So we get back over here. We have another Asigi. He is not out of food. This is kind of his last chance. So we will go. We need 3s or less. We succeed. I do use up my provender. I get no stuffies for this. These go away. I get a conquered. I actually get 2 because it's a 2-point place. But these don't come with victory points. So actually I don't really need to. That's, again, odd. I'm like, oh, you conquer things, you should get victory points. Well, all I'm doing is working towards that, but I'm not getting enough. And I'm not focusing on the right things in the battle because I don't understand, like the points just aren't getting through to me, right? All right, let's go on to the next one. The next one's a no command. That's pretty easy. Next one over here is the treachery, which I have to do. Now, neither player is near Roussel, are they? I'm fucking sieging his location. I don't know what that means. I think I would have gotten it for free. Oh, no, not him. It's this guy over here. Nobody's near that. He has a fealty of 4, which is, I believe, what we're in play here. I hope I didn't use the other thing, the service. But yeah, I need higher than a 4. And we get him too. So he goes over and switches sides. And not that it matters much, but he's now over there, and this is over here. And we've gotten 2 of those into our side. We get to Berenice. He has to grab food because I don't have enough food for a siege. So grabbing food, and here's the problem. I can't assault. Like, I can't put the extra siege down. I can't put the assault. I need to do the assault next turn, which means I'm not going to be able to get that extra siege down then either. So I'm just fucked. I can't do the things I want to do. Period. And this is what I always run into in this game, is that even if I do pre-plan better than I did, and I didn't know where I was going to end up, whatever, I'm not going to get what I want. Now, that's okay. It's not winter yet, so I can maintain my siege. But what that's going to mean is that I take my 3 commands and grab provender in all of them. And that'll work. Afsin Bey, he's just got nothing good, but he does have a garden, which I believe means that I can forage, if I can find it. I could actually supply, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to supply. And I don't know if the die roll is here. So I have to find the rules in each of these cases to look up which I can do and which I can't. I might be able to supply from here. If not, I can forage, but I'm not convinced that I have to roll a die if I forage. Like, that seems wrong when the gardens are there, so I don't know. Once again, I'm digging into the rules to look up just basic stuff that I need to know, you know, that the situation that I'm in, I should have never gotten myself in that situation depending on those rules. But so much of the core of the game, the key of the game, is this supply system that, and I think this is a big part of it. The supply system itself is complex and has enough different parts to it in a way that, like, even OCS feels simplified compared to it, just in terms of I can get the basics of OCS down pretty easily. And you're always using the same supply system in it. In this, I'm not. I'm now in a very different situation. I'm besieged inside a fort with gardens. That is a seat. How does that all interrelate? You know, and I don't think it's just the supply system. I think a lot of the rules to the game are that kind of, I have to understand everything, have it all in mind to be able to play at all reasonably and not like duck into a place where I'm going to starve to death. So let's hit the first one. The way rules as written are versus concept. The active lord must have an unbroken route of locales and ways served by transport to his own seats at an unruined stronghold that he will use as a supply source. Mark sources as needed. The route may not include any locale with an enemy lord or stronghold unless besieged or bypassed. Now, that clause, as stated, says that I can draw supplies from there. That, and actually probably from outside of there as well. That doesn't feel right because I am besieged, right? Like, there shouldn't be supplies there. So I don't know, but as written, I think I can draw supplies from here and from back here because my path is clear, because this is besieged, even if it's besieged by someone else. Doesn't feel like you could make the argument that that lord or stronghold would have to be besieged or bypassed. That's what it's trying to say. And that's the only way to kind of correlate what is there. And they can't be. But now, the other thing, so that's what I'm going to play it as, because that's what makes sense. The other thing is forage or something like that. I don't remember what it's even called. Let's take a look. Forage. And again, if at an unravaged friendly stronghold automatic, 4.5.4. That feels too far. 4.5.2. Here's gardens. That has to be it. 4.5.4. I don't know. A lord may use a command action to seek to add one provender. His locale may not be ravaged. It's not. He may not be besieged by a number of enemy lords equal to or more than the stronghold size. Oh, I forgot about that. I don't think I could siege this. Fuck. There's another rule, isn't there? 1.3.1, we got to go back to that because I may have cheated here too. Fuck me. Although I think this turned conquered when I... Oh, no. Yeah, I think this turned conquered when I got him under my control anyway. Ah, fuck. I'm so lost. A lord or friendly town may forage to add one provender automatically even if besieged. So I have that at the very least. Which means since I have 3 commands, I can grab 3 provender there. Which now makes it so that I can resist to some extent. But, you know, again, I'm so lost. What do I have? This 1.3.1 I have to look up? I think that's the map. It's not going to tell me what I want. Yeah, 1.3.1 is map. Stronghold. And other aspects of siege and storm. 4.3.4, 4.5.1. You see, I have to play this whack-a-mole game here. 4.3.4. Well, that's approach, but somehow should be 4.3.5. Place a siege marker. Doesn't seem to require that I have to have more there. So that may just prevent. So this siege was legal, although probably not necessary. I don't know. I'm lost. Let's go to the last card, because I can't cope playing chase the rules down, you know? Again, it's not all staying in my head. What's he up to? Well, he's got an interesting situation. I don't want to assault, not with just 2 siege markers, but 3 or more siege markers causes an issue. It'll disappear. We get repair, right, at the end of the campaign? Or do we not? Is that just winter? Where's repair? Repair is end of campaign. So I don't want to put another siege in. I learned that I can't win the fight with 1 siege. So I grab, I guess, 4 supplies because I am at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cart. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can get there easily. So I'll grab 4 supply. And that's the end of the turn. And now we're at end campaign. We didn't end the game. It's not spring. Repairs, nobody's up to where that's an issue. And then we hit wastage, and we look around. I hate to lose his cart, but I don't know. He's not functional, but I probably am not going to be using command cards for him anymore. You know what? I don't know. Because I'm worried I'm going to run out of supplies, but let's lose this. He's fine. He's fine. So no wastage there. Over on this guy's side, he's got 2 carts and nothing else he can lose except this. I hate to lose food. I don't want his Tagmata reduced. And over here, again, I hate to lose food, but I feel like I need a lot of, like I'm 1 cart short, or I'm 1 cart over what I need to grab supplies from Constantinople. And I don't want to count on that going. So screw that, that's what we take. Oh, no. I do not take that. I take the centralized administration that I don't need anymore. I can always remuster it next year because I'm outside of territory. Themata, we didn't grab any. Lieutenants get unstacked. Campaign moves to a levy here. And it's time to break for a while. Battery did not charge. Before I get to the Arts of War, you know, I noticed this, which is actually quite powerful. So, for example, this covers the friendly enemy issue here. Conquered markers in that side's color, otherwise printed allegiance, right? You know, I'm always bad at absorbing, especially when there's a density of information like there is in something like this. So I go to what I need and don't really pay attention to all this colored stuff. I have a tendency to actually forget colored stuff, to just like blot it out, which is weird. But anyway, let's pull some Arts of War. Siege of Bari, we've had this up here, so we get the secondary. If already marked, 1 Seljuk lord gets +1 lordship, this muster instead. I gotta remember that. And then reinforcements denied, shift 1 Roman service, 1 Roman lord service, 1 calendar box. Service is not the so it's the long thing, and the best is this, and I believe that would take any buddies he has with him. But if I can knock the Emperor out of the game, which given that they have no cash, I think can happen. It doesn't automatically win the game, but it takes a huge piece off the field and starts causing some real problems for the Romans. So yeah, that was a mistake to leave no coins on board, but it's hard. And then over here, we have Armenian resistance. If 3 things here, Manzikert is Seljuk friendly. Choose 1 and place Roman conquered marker. Adjust VP. Okay, so this is interesting. So Kilat is this one. Manzikert and Arakash. Arakash is harder to take, so I'm going to grab that. It's a weird situation because both sides are doing terribly, I think. You know? Clysarai, hold. Play when Seljuk Lord marches, avoids battle, or retreats across a pass. Each one takes a hit. As if in battle, no losses roll. The fuck does that even mean? What's a losses roll? Is that the armor? I don't know. We've got protection roll. I don't know what a losses roll is. Is that loss? Unit removal. Oh! Okay, maybe. 484. See, they got these terms, and they're not like necessarily defined anywhere specifically. But that's okay. 484. Let's find that. That's this. Losses. After Lord's Retreat, withdraw, etc. Okay, so I think it gets its protection roll, because it doesn't say no protection roll, which means, for some reason, armored are going to do better. Now, I don't know what this represents. We could look it up. R25. I can't really read it, but even with these glasses, my eyes are not able to see everything. So that's not this. It's this. The Seljuk player rolls protection for the unit assigned to hit, but if protection fails, it's eliminated with no recovery. It means steep, narrow defiles in the landscape and a category of light frontier troops who defended them. Yeah, so it's going to be some kind of ambush. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm like, well, heavy armor doesn't really protect you if you fall off a cliff. We're almost out of battery here, which means we go to pay, and we got a big problem where I think the Emperor is going to disappear. I'm afraid it may be worse than that. So these are troops. All of the Imperial forces are going to disappear. But you know what? All of the Seljuk forces are too. They don't have coins either. So I've succeeded in, I think, the most amazing thing, which is that both armies are just going to dissolve and basically both players lose. I don't know. I knew that keeping coins is an important thing. But as I struggled and tried to incorporate more and more of the complexity of this game, well, I found myself unable to tax, right? Especially since I'm dealing, with armies in other people's territory and whatnot. I think everything's fucked because you lose the game if you have no leaders left. I don't think you're supposed to both lose all your leaders at the same time. I wonder who wins in that case. Yeah, this is, I don't know. This campaign victory, side with no lords during campaign loses. That's 5.2. I don't know what happens if both lose. That's where we're at. 5.2. If any moment during campaign a side has no mustered lords on the map, the game ends immediately. The other side wins. Seljuk player wins in the first phase of winter if they've conquered Aleppo. Yeah, I think we just fail. We absolutely fail here. Because I have absolutely nothing. That's not entirely true. She can boost someone. If I had loot here, I could boost someone, but I don't. I think the Romans are going to win, simply because of the Empress being able to maintain them. But let's see. We have no capability to pay. We have no loot nor coin, which means we hit disband. Beyond the service limit is permanently removed. There goes the Emperor. Boom. He's gone. Gone for good. Put him there. Get rid of his stuff. Everybody else is at service limit. So the rest of them are all going to go away. But wait, no. Call to arms happens later. Yeah, everybody's gone. both sides lose. Cool, huh? Yeah, I thought, so this call to arms, I can't do this in time. And that's one of the problems with it, is that, like, it's hard to judge when you want to do it, because normally pay is when you need to save someone, right? You're like, I don't want to spend my coin yet. I don't want to spend my coin yet. But I think this is the first time in a levying campaign I've completely fucked up and had both sides lose. I don't know what it means. You know, did the two governments just collapse? What happens? I don't know. But that's how I'm reading it. Because what do we got here? These are the three Seljuk leaders that are on the board. They are all at service limit. There's nothing I can do to prevent that, right? They're all going to go forward. Nobody can muster them because there are no lords left. This is why you wanted to keep Alp Arslan in the field or whatever, perhaps. But similarly, these are just troops. These are the leaders for the Romans. All of them are gone. So yeah, both sides disappear. There may be something like Seljuks lose first or something, but who the hell cares? Yeah, I have, as I said, both sides are doing horribly. I have failed at the game with both sides to maintain their armies in the field. If that hadn't been the case, if somehow both sides had managed, you know, to have an extra coin or something to stay in the field, the Seljuks are in a lot of trouble. They're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these little markers. This one may count 2. I don't know. That would be a 7th. But they need 13. They'd be giving up 6 victory points. That's a huge swing to the Romans. Of course, the Romans just lost their emperor forever. Like, he didn't have any money, so he starved to death or something. I mean, I don't know. You know, like, yeah. It's just the little gears aren't hitting for me this time. I think this happened to me the first time in Nevsky, something similar, where it was just so bad, but it happened early, right? In this one, I knew I had to have coin, but then I lost track of that as I got overwhelmed with everything else I had to fucking do. And yeah, I don't know if I have any spirit to give this another shot right away. I almost feel like I just have to focus on levying campaign and play that alone for, you know, a while, and only that, and drive out thoughts of all other types of games and everything, because the method of thinking in it is much, much more painful. Is this a more painful one than others? You know, maybe, because the distance is quite great. The empire has to go very, very far. Their supply lines are hard to keep. Their capability for taxing, you know, basically, maybe I have to spend that first spring phase just taxing. That some of the collateral implications of this relatively, of borders that are relatively far from, you know, where all my lords are, is such that it's really hard to keep the Romans in the field. Is it as hard to keep the Seljuk? No, I clearly just fucked up with them. You know, they were in a position where they could have taxed, but, you know, they tried to do things, right? If you try to do things in these systems, you just kind of fall apart, which reminds me a little bit of a game I love, Empires of the Middle Ages, where the answer is don't do anything, just, you know, marshal your requirements. But the Seljuks have to do things. They have to get a lot of these markers on the board. And do they actually have an easier time? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, clearly this is a lot closer to the enemy. I can go into enemy territory and do something from there. But can I do enough deep enough? And yeah, the simple I am failing at, so I was failing at the goal of the Seljuks, which is to loot stuff. Here I am conquering things and running away from the army and everything. I just don't know. I'm going to have to think about whether I want to set this up again and give it another shot, or, it's not like I was having an easy time. Right? Even at this point, halfway through, I was fucking up royally, and then also lost track of. Yeah, you really need to fucking tax your people, and you can't tax your people if you're not on your people. I think. I don't know. Like normally, you can only tax. Let's take a look at the taxation rules. Normally, you can only tax at your home. At your seat, which is always a painful limitation. But let's see what we've got here. If I can fucking find it. Because I'm looking, and like supply, that's a big thing that I try to do. But other commands, well, that's where tax probably is then. There it is. An unbesieged lord at any of his seats may use his entire card to get a coin, a whole coin. The Roman commander may tax any friendly stronghold only in the Roman Empire. Okay. I'm guessing that's within the purple stuff. But, again, that's not his seat. When he does so, add one Seljuk ravaged to that stronghold if not yet ravaged. You may not tax a stronghold if there's a ravage marker there, but that precludes me making this kind of big expedition. So I would have had to, tax my way further forward. If I had the chance to get to this or to the levy phase or something like that, I would still have troops. But all the leaders on both sides are gone. I can't levy, or I can't do any mustering. I can't do anything like, anything there. And I don't. This call to arms does not allow me to resurrect somebody who's already disbanded. So I think we've come to a tie where, like, I would say both kingdoms have basically dissolved due to mismanagement of the war. Yeah, I got to think real hard whether I want to give this another shot right away or, just put it aside. And I'm really beginning to wonder if I just can't play levying campaign. I mean, respect it or no, it's always such a fucking struggle to just keep my armies in the field, which may be accurate in some ways, but here's the problem. I have to see. So normally in a game where you have like, oh my God, it's really hard to keep myself, healthy and functioning. But you don't just automatically lose because you didn't pre-plan something as intricate as you had to here. Here I had to have a coin available at the end of every turn. And I think I had a game where somebody lost, or I'm sure I had a game where somebody lost due to this. I don't think both sides did. But that's just a sign of, how much this one, even though I don't think the rules are particularly more complicated, the situation is, and it overwhelms me with things I'm trying to do to keep my forces functioning, making sure I have supplies of food and whatnot in the field. Well, I forgot that, my guys are all going to disappear and I'm going to lose the game. I don't know.